Good morning. Welcome to Quest Television and Radio. My name is Sarah Omobigo, and yes, I'm not alone. I'm here with my analyst, Comrade Odoma, the ordained Bishop. Good morning, sir. Well, for those of you...
Blessed morning to you. Today is Thursday. We have a blessed weekend coming up tomorrow in Jesus.
Exactly. So for those of you who are just joining us, it is the newspaper review where we look at the trending stories in the world of news, sport, and entertainment. Basically, we review the dailies and see what we have. Well, speaking about the dailies, the first paper up for review is that of the Vanguard newspaper. And the big story on the Vanguard today says poor Nigerians hit 104 million. This is coming from World Bank. Poor Nigerians hit 104 million. A kicker underneath that story says asks NNPC to publish account revenue flow. NNPC earnings under scrutiny. Idon eyes Nigerian holding large FX in domiciliary account. Industry ministers counters World Bank on power subsidy. Well, all of these you can read on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. But going above the masthead, another story that says CBN blames scarcity of banknotes on hoarding. You can read more on that on page 19. If you want to know why we are not seeing enough cash, check page 19 of Vanguard newspaper. Well, page 13 says 2024, Lagos, Borno, Rivers propose 3.387 trillion naira budget. Still on page 13, error bombings, survivors drag federal government to court, seeks 33 billion naira compensation. Ohaneze, IPOB tell Tinubu to free Kano, but you can read more on that on page 11. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, the picture of the day shows Rivers State, the House of Assembly complex being demolished as at yesterday. Says Rivers crisis, state government demolishes Assembly complex. You can read more on that on page 5 of the Vanguard. Tinubu sacks FAAN, NAMA, NSIB, NIMET, DGs. Okay, I'll take that again. Tinubu sacks FAN, NAMA, NSIB, NIMET, DGS. Kick on the need that says suspends NCAA, suspends DG, removes NCAT rector. Well, to get more information on that headline, check page 8 of the Vanguard. While still looking at the Vanguard, in the world of sports, says CAF Awards, it is a wake-up call for more investment in sport coming from the Senate. And I think that is all that we can take from the Vanguard this morning. The next paper up for review is that of the Daily Trust. And the big story on the Daily Trust says stop subsidy payment, increase petrol price to 750 naira per litre, World Bank tells federal government. Kick underneath that headline says wants increase in VAT taxes for SMEs. Advice on fuel price hike insensitive. This is coming from Dons. Subsidy removal hasn't brought expected gains in oil revenue. OAGF. Fuel selling above 700 naira in Northeast. All of these you can find on page 4 of the Daily Trust. Well, above the masthead, says ASU excited as federal government exempts universities, polytechnics, others from IPPIS. You can read more of this on page 3 of the Vanguard paper. While on page 4 says Tinubu fires FAAN, NCAA, NAMA, NCAT, NIMET, NSIB buses. While on page 18 says CBN suspend new request for intervention loans. While still on the Daily Trust, other headline says Fubara presents budget to 4 lawmakers, demolishes Rivers Assembly. You can read more on this on page 10 of the Daily Trust. Meanwhile, on page 8 says NBA condemns kidney trade in Abuja, offers victims free services. Page 22 says Nasarawa begins contact trading as diphtheria kills 4 children. And lastly, from the Daily Trust, EFCC declares Obasanjo's ex-power minister wanted over $6 billion fraud. Well, that is the much that we can take from the Daily Trust. Because of time, the next paper up for review is that of The Guardian. And the big story says national statistics Population outgrows economy and means rising dependent misery. Well, you can read more on this on page 6 of The Guardian. Other headline says, police neutralized 13 kidnappers, rescued 263 victims in Katsina. You can read more on this on page 8 of The Guardian. Tinubu sacks heads of aviation agencies. FEC approves 6.32 billion naira contract. You can read more on this on page 2 of The Guardian. Fubara bears fangs, demolishes assembly complex, present 2024 budgets to 4 lawmakers. More of this on page 6 of The Guardian paper. Union hail federal government's exemption of universities, police, others from IPIS. You can read more on this on page 3. Not going back on conception of international airports, KMO insists. While on the business page of The Guardian, you will find this on page 18 to get more information. Sanwo-Olu presents 2.2 trillion naira 2024 budget to Assembly. You can read more of this on page 5 of The Guardian. And lastly from The Guardian, 3 feared dead in a Kitty bank robbery. It's a sad one. You could get more information on page 2 of The Guardian paper. And lastly, the paper up for review is the Punch newspaper. And the big story says, Rivers demolishes Assembly. Pro-Fubara speakers declare defectors seats vacant. Kick underneath that story says government justifies assembly demolition, says complex not suitable for legislative business. PDP directs legal advisor to sue defectors. Governor Fubara afraid of his shadow, says APC. Or you can read more on this on page 2 of the Punch paper. Above the masthead, Tinubu sacks 5 aviation agencies. Tinubu sacks 5 aviation agencies heads, suspend NCAA boss. More of this on page 13 of the Punch. Meanwhile, on page 12, IPPIS, ASU hails federal government as FEC removes varsities, others. And on page 4 and 5, gunmen kill woman, abduct 7 on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And on page 19, NNPCL not transparent on subsidy dollar revenues coming from World Bank. On page 8, Kaduna bombing, military raises 8-man panel, villagers disown 33 billion naira suit. NLC rejects TCN privatization demands, policy reversal. NLC rejects TCN privatization demands policy reversal. You can read more on this on page 13 of the Punch paper. But because of time, this is the much that we can take from the dailies this morning. Right about now, I will be turning over to my analyst in the building and yes, see what he thinks about the dailies, the headlines, and of course the story so far. Once again, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Nice hearing your voice, but you have done that same thing again.
What is that?
Fine wine that is not drinkable.
Oh my God, well, away from that, it seems like one story that reoccurs in all papers is that of the River State House of Assembly complex being demolished, and of course the issues with the 27 lawmakers defecting to the other party, APC. And he presented the budget to just 4 lawmakers in the House of Assembly.
Yes, I mean, you know, in Africa we play our politics very dirty. There was a head of state in this continent that was to use any means to stop the invasion of the Western world in his country, and he sank over 100 ships in the Mediterranean to prevent them from getting to this country. In Africa here, it is rulership by conquest, not by the constitution.
Not by voting or anything.
Yes, not by the voting. It's rulership by conquest. Now, this fight between Wike and the sitting governor is something that's supposed not to have come up at all. You are saying that you want to control the political structure of the state. When your predecessor left office, he didn't come back to you that he wants to control the structure of the state. Why is it that you want to remain relevant for life and the other people are irrelevant? You are no more a human being than every other person. I know what Fubara has done is just to debase Wike and his people. Because if he allows them to go ahead, of course, 27 against 4, it's not even supposed to be a voting issue.
There's a match already.
He's just coming to the office and signing the paper and he's out of office. So the man is also protecting his territory. But I think the cost of this fight is becoming too much to bear for the Rivers people. I'm presenting budget to 4 people. Of course, that's the number of the people they have in the house for now. The 27 others is saying that they should declare them
Their seats vacant.
Yeah,
Exactly.
their seats vacant. Their lawyers should write to INEC. They are going to court and all this and all that. So if you are talking in terms of quorum, the 4 people have formed the quorum because they are the only people left in the house.
In the house.
Yes, the other people refused to come. Why that was going on in the River State? They were busy in Abuja.
Surprise visit to Wike on his birthday.
You see, so what else do you expect the governor to do? The state must run. But I should think that the elder statesmen from this our region will wade into this matter and call Wike to order. Actually, it's not. You have held several positions before you became a governor.
2 tenures as a governor.
Yes, even before then he has held several positions in River State. He was even a junior minister of education or what some time ago. Now you are a full minister. You are saying that you still want to be there. Like the proverb we normally have in our area, you carry elephant on your head. You are using your throat to look for cricket on the floor. What if the elephant falls on you? What do you do?
Well, another headline, another story that caught my attention from Vanguard says poor Nigerians hit 104 million.
Hope you are not part of the 104 million.
I think all Nigerians are part of this 104, and this is coming from World Bank.
Whether they got it from the bank accounts, I don't know. I don't know how they got that figure. Because I know quite well that even in the Niger Delta here, where we have oil-rich locations, I don't think more than 70% are poor Nigerians. And if you now join it with the miscreant boys from every other area, especially the gifted area that is in the north, because of this war ravaged situation. And they're talking about 104 million. When Nigeria itself, we are pursuing about 300 million as our population. So, which means that those who are rich in Nigeria are more than those who are poor. Which is not the issue. Look at the Uganda virus where we are here. You see the level of poverty written on the faces of everybody walking down the street. So, for them to say we have around 4 million Nigerians, maybe actually they want to paint the figures because nobody will want to say his own father's house is not fine enough. I will give it to them that 4 million Nigerians are poor, but you and I know quite well that
it is more than that.
It's not the real figure.
Then yet says Tinubu sacks heads of aviation agencies and FEC also approves 6.32 billion naira contract. This one Tinubu is sacking all the bosses. Remember when he came into power then and he changed all the heads and all of that. So I think he is not doing the same in the aviation sector.
I think he wants to clean up every sector of the government agencies. Because actually, if you come into an office, you actually want to see who you can use and who you cannot use.
Who you replace or change.
Based on your policies that you want to pursue. You know, when the former president, the immediate past president came on board, he was doing the same thing too. And they even asked the same president of today. And he said, let the man appoint those he can use.
Exactly.
Yes, and they applauded him. So he's now also doing the same thing. I think the other people should also applaud him. But I don't think it is good enough to sack everybody and start with a fresh hand. It's not good to be starting alone every day. Governance is a system. When somebody leaves, somebody comes in, the system continues. And when you come and you say that everybody in the system should go and you want to start afresh again, it takes you a very long time for you to achieve a perfect learning curve. And
because you're working with newbies and people who are not really into the system.
Exactly. We were in a meeting with a commissioner one day. The man said, look, I don't know anything about this ministry. So what my permanent secretary says is what we will follow. He said it openly, and it was not, and everybody thumbed him up because he told us the truth rather than blabbing and beating around.
And acting like he knows it.
Yes. And before he will settle down in the office, maybe 6 months have gone. 6 months of inactivity. Will have a direct effect on the ministry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, away from that one, let me quickly give out the phone lines to our viewers and listeners at home. If you're watching us on TV, the number's already on your screen. But for those of you who are joining us via radio, for you to be part of the newspaper review this morning, do well to call the number 081 88 888 931 or 08022 931 931. While we are with the calls, another headline that caught my attention was that of the... Okay, I think we have a caller on the line already. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Trying from Mosaga.
Okay, please go ahead.
That should be Henry.
Yes, Mr. Henry. Go ahead.
Nigeria under poverty line rise to 1 million, World Bank. And again, stop subsidy payment increase to more than several World Bank just Nigeria. Now, the truth is that all these directives, they don't tell the developed world. Today, America cannot remove space subsidy because it's quite of the economy, but they're still telling us to do this one. We are seeing the effect of the first they remove it. They say you should not pay that, we should increase the more. They want Nigeria to collapse. Then again, population at growth economy amidst misery, dependent and misery. It is high time we looked at the population control to some extent, because it should have, when I would like to know, the rate of the population growth is getting out of hand, especially in the north. Because before you know that Nigeria will be overpopulated with a low GDP. Have a good day, man.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Harry. Yes, while I said we're waiting the call, that was one of the headlines I was going to read out, talking about our population outgrowing our economy. Okay, we have another caller on the line. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and your location?
This is Eno calling from Uganda.
All right, please go ahead.
I want to ask my committee a question. Can 4 members out of 31 members form a quorum?
Definitely, in a normal situation, constitutional issue, they cannot form a quorum. But because of the prevailing circumstances in that area, the 27 members have been, their seats have been declared vacant.
Exactly.
So we now have only 4 members in the House.
I thought the speaker is still in the House,
yes.
talking about
You know, there was, I don't want to mention the institute. Only 2 people sat for exams in a diet. You see, out of the 2 people that sat for the exams, 1 person passed. You notice today, the institute is claiming that that was the season they had the highest number of qualified students, because half of the students passed the exams. In a normal situation, as of today, more than 10,000 sit for the exam, and you don't have up to 1,000. So comparing 1,000 people that will pass to only 1 person that passed, it's not comparable. But they are telling you that because half of the people that sat for that exam passed, which is just only 1 candidate, that they have the best result. Actually, your question is very correct, but with the prevailing circumstances, that is the best the man can get. The man cannot wait for the court to resolve the matter before presenting budget.
All right, while we're taking the calls and still on the program, okay, another caller on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good
What's
morning.
your name and where you calling from?
It's Captain Alex calling from Gushi Farm.
All right, please go ahead.
World Bank telling federal government to increase fuel from 60 something we are 600 something we are suffering to 700 something.
750 naira per liter.
What are they helping us? What wrong have we done the world? What wrong have Nigerians done? Is the suffering not enough? Obasanjo aids EFCC nabbed with about some billions of naira. It's a nice development. Let the past administration be proved. We have money in this country. IBB has money. Obasanjo has money. Buhari has money. Let us go into these people and get our money. But past governors and ministers, God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Well, while we were...
When they say the Americans want us to increase the water distribution, who is the cause of all these things? You cannot leave your farm and be farming another person, thinking that one day you will be okay. It is never going to be so. Let them begin to punish us and push us until we have senses of our own to develop.
Because I believe the World Bank advises for our own benefits.
Whether benefit or not, until we are able to stand by our footing and know what is right and what is wrong, we will continue to suffer all these things. What happens to your agricultural sector? What happens to your mining sector? What happens to every other sector that we have left?
The technology sector, we've not even started to address it yet.
Then we are complaining. What are we doing with all the money we are putting every year? And you say America should not tell us what they want to tell us. If they lie, let us say that every year 2 million of us should be coming there to do housemaid jobs. We don't have a choice.
All right. Seems like that's too much that we can take. My PD already signaled me that we have exhausted the time given to us for this segment. But as always, I want to say a very big thank you to every caller who called, everyone who tuned in this morning. You've made the program more impactful. I remain Sarah Mowigo, and thank you, Comrade Odomo, for doing this with me.
Common-looking people are the best in the world. And
but
that
do
is why
not
God made them so many.
forget, the quest promises to be entertaining, educating, and exciting. And all you have to do is stay tuned to be part of this journey. Bye for now. Until next time.